What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back. Got some more positive messaging for you all. Hashtag young paper chaser. Hashtag that dude. Hashtag Wall Street hit my line. Hashtag let's get down to it. And what I want to talk about today is very important. So I want you guys to listen. And if I, start going off on little tangents and stuff, just, I'll get to the main message, by the end of this video, I promise. So stay tuned. But what I want to talk about is the idea that every single person matters and every single person is important because it's true, right? And I know there's a lot of people out there that feel like they don't matter, they're not important, they don't serve a purpose, yada yada whoop-de-whoop. And that's just not true, because every single person is important. And the reason that I am thinking about this today is, I think I've mentioned it several times on this channel, but I work an office job right now, and my goal is to eventually not have to do that and work for myself and have my own businesses and endeavors that pay me enough money to live off of and keep my family doing well and all that stuff. But right now I'm working an office job, right? And I pride myself on being a pretty hard worker. And at this job, man, like, nobody even really acknowledges that I'm there, right? And the only time that I get, acknowledged that I'm there is when they want to get mad about something, right? And they want to use me as the punching bag to, kind of let loose and get upset, right? So, I work on a team with two people, me being one of them. So it's me and one other guy. And he's, technically my boss. We're like basically the same age. He's a year older than me. But he's definitely very smart, knows what he's doing, wants to, help the company succeed, all this stuff. And he's, he takes lead on a lot of stuff, but I'm certainly there helping and doing as much as I can. And there's nights where it's both of us in the office till 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night doing work. So it's very much a team effort, right? He might be the leader of the team, but I'm still doing my part, right? You have basketball teams, football teams, whatever, where you have guys that come off the bench, but they're still putting in work, and your team might not win if those guys don't do what they need to do, right? Not saying I'm a bench player. I'm kind of a, secondary starter in this situation, but you get my point. So all the time, if anyone's giving out praise for anything that we do, it's, good job, to the guy I'm working with. Let's call him Big C. So they'll be like, hey, good job, Big C. Like, you're doing your thing. He doesn't get praised that much either. Like, we just work for people that have very high expectations and unrealistic expectations at that. And, but we try to do our best, and, but it feels like whenever we get praised, it's just going to my dog C. And, it hurts me sometimes because I'm spending so much time there when I would rather be making videos for you guys and, figuring out how I can, affect the world in a positive way elsewhere, making music, making videos, just making people's days better, being a friend to people, whatever, right? Just doing things that I enjoy and I feel like, are creating more of a positive effect on other people's lives. That's really what I'm trying to do. And my job is really just to, help me, make money and, eventually build myself up so I can do those things on my own and not have to rely on other people, to survive in a sense, right? So it was really frustrating me today because, like, there's a couple of projects that we've been working on, and it's just like, all of the praise goes to, my dog C. And while I don't want him to not get praised, because he deserves to get praised, even more so than I do, right? It just hurts to feel like you're spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day somewhere and putting in a lot of work, trying to put in your best effort day in, day out. Because I don't have one of those remote jobs. Like, I have to go somewhere 5 days a week, 9 to 5. It's more like 9 to 6:30 or 9 to 7 most days. And I gotta be there until the work's done. So it just can hurt sometimes, right? And I'm sure there's so many people out there that deal with this type of thing at work, right? Probably worse than I do. And that's why I really wanted to get on here and talk about this, because what you have to do in those situations is understand that who you are at work isn't necessarily who you are, period. Right? I do plenty of other stuff outside work that none of my coworkers know about. Like, they don't know that I, do these YouTube videos. Some of them know that I make music. But like, it's not like to them that like this Wall Street Hit My Line is not who I am. Right? So you have to put that in perspective and understand that like you can do whatever you want in life and you are important to people, right? Like, my family, like my sisters and my mom, like, they're not gonna not love me because I didn't I'm not getting praised at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand that like you're always gonna be important to someone or something. And that's why you matter. That's why every single person matters, right? And I know people feel like, oh, well, I don't matter unless I have, status and power and money. And that's just not true. Like, it's nice to have all those things, right? You need to know how to, take care of them. You need to know how to manage your money. You need to know how to not let, power and status get to your head and, change your morals and who you are as a person. But at the end of the day, none of that stuff really indicates whether or not you matter, right? Like, you could have no money, nothing going on, and you still matter, right? It's all about figuring out how you can make a positive impact on your life, on your family's lives, on your friends' lives, and just other people that need that positive effect in their life, right? Like, I'll give you an example, right? This has nothing to do with me making YouTube videos, me making music, me going to work, any of that. I was, in the store the other day, and I had to pay with my card for some reason, and they wound up giving me cash back. They gave me like $3 cash back. I had to like pay with debit. I don't know. It was a weird situation. And so I come out of the store, and they gave me like $3 or $4 cash back, right? And me, I'm a guy that likes to save like loose change and stuff and like pile it up so I can, one day like have like 20, 30, 40 bucks and I can go, get lunch or something, whatever, right? But I walk out the store and there's this dude who has a sign up. He's sitting on the ground up against the glass of the window of the store, and he has a sign up that says like, I really need help. That's what the sign said. So I come out the store, I give him the $3, and like you could see like the relief on this dude's face, right? And like $3 to most people is not much, right? And I give this dude $3, and I could tell that I made a positive impact on his day, right? And that made me feel really good. So all of the lack of praise and the lack of acknowledgement and the lack of feeling like I'm, even existing to these people that I work for and that I spend the majority of my time with, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because eventually I'm going to go and do my own thing. I'm not going to work there forever. And I'm going to figure out how to make way more of a positive impact on so many other people's lives. And that's what really matters. So I want you guys to kind of think about things the same way. Like, if you're in school right now, or you work a job where you have the same thing going on and you're not getting any sort of positive reinforcement or acknowledgement that you're, doing what you should be doing, or you're doing a good job, or you're putting in a lot of effort, like, who cares? You have to trust what you're doing and know that you're doing a lot of work, right? Because that's what I've started to do, is like, I don't care if these people say, you did this or you did that, whatever, because half the time they're not even paying attention, right? So like, who cares, right? I know that I'm doing a good job. I know that I'm doing everything that I need to be doing. And when I get off work, I'm coming home and I'm, doing everything that I need to do to try and be successful with this YouTube stuff, with the music stuff, and really advance my life in the direction that I want it to be in, right? But regardless of all of that, I matter. right? I matter to my family. I matter to my friends. I matter to, random people that I probably haven't even met yet. And so do you. So don't ever let someone make you feel like you don't matter, or, make you feel like you don't exist, or, all of your effort isn't, making an impact, because it is. And just because, there's people in the world that don't want to give you praise because they feel insecure, or they want to hold you back because they don't want you to take their position or something like that, just acknowledge that that's what's going on, and that they're, the smaller person in a sense, right? You're the bigger person because you don't care what they think about you. And you know that you're doing the right thing by putting in the effort, putting in the work, and trying to make a positive impact. So that's really all I got, guys. I just wanted to get on here because, I was in my feelings a little bit. I had to kind of, take a little break, listen to some music, relax a little bit, and just understand that, I matter, right? It doesn't matter, what, one person or a couple of people think about you, because at the end of the day, the opinion that's most important is the opinion that you have of yourself. And you need to, maintain that relationship with yourself, and don't let other people ruin the relationship that you have with yourself, right? So pick yourself up, dust your shoulders off, and understand that you matter. You matter to me, and you matter to a lot more people out there. So you're important. Keep pushing forward, man. So that's all I got, guys. I love you all. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to keep these videos coming, and that's all I got. So take it easy, stay safe, stay blessed, stay humble, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.